So, the second season of Danmachi's Dungeon series has just concluded, and it was pretty freaking good. And I keep trying to tell people, hey, you should watch this anime. Or, hey, you should go check out season 2. And oftentimes when I mention the Dungeon series, I keep getting the same feedback. Oh, I want to watch it, but I really don't know what the first season was about. Or like, it's been too long for me to remember the show. But really, that doesn't matter. There's not much happening in the first season to make you have to go back and really rewatch it to know what's going to happen for season 2. And I really do say that respectfully to season 1, because it is a gem. Season 1 was about a new adventurer named Bell Cornell, after his grandfather dies in Oreo, and I'm going to call it Oreo because I cannot say the actual name. Oreo, you know, like I said, Oreo, we're gonna keep going. And like the title says, he originally became an adventurer in the hopes of a girl falling in love with him. Which, if you watch the anime, doesn't exactly fit. I really don't feel like I need to explain why. Just stick with me. He joins the Hestia Familia, which is the lowest ranking out of all the familias. Reason being is he's Hestia's only member, which she has no problem in keeping it that way. Reason being is Hestia is hella thirsty and wants his 14-year-old dick. Funny note, I found this very funny. In some Greek mythology, Hestia is basically the eternal maiden, meaning no husband or lovers, making her still a virgin. Now, this is going to be important going into season 2 because the eternal maiden, she was promised to wed someone, but then she was like, nah, bounce that. Basically. But we're going to keep going. I just also found this funny because, you know, she was always dressed like this, kind of loose. Baby, you know? Triple! Moving on, Bell wants to be a hero, so he goes to kill monsters in the dungeon, like you would normally go do. When suddenly a wild freaking minotaur appears, almost killing him. That is until Ainz, I freaking like, not Ainz from like Overlord Ainz Ungol, no, I'm talking Eyes, you gotta say like Eyes. The Sword Princess saves him, covering him in blood. After this event, he is marked throughout the season as being a weak adventurer, walking around town with this internal feeling of shame, battling with his internal demons along the way. Basically, he's weak as fuck. He's level 1, he's weak, everyone knows he's weak, he's trying to look cool, you know, he's in puberty. It's pretty shameful, but not really, you know, it's pretty, I understand where he's coming from here. Anyway, keep an eye on that Minotaur later on in the season series. I think if you watched it before, you know why I say that. Then, after touching Lily's special spot, her no-no square, he has to take responsibility and has to let her join the party. But Lily was just using him for money, like most women. After betraying him, and then her getting betrayed right back and left for dead, Belle saves her, because she is still the only adventurer friend he has. Aww. No, she has a rough familia life. This is because she is housed to the Soma Familia, which is basically people hooked on the best drug in all the series, Soma's wine. His wine is so good, it will have you hooked down to your soul if you only take a sip. That's crazy. Down to your soul, making it almost impossible for you to resist. I mean, if you're a god or goddess, I mean, you're kind of immune to it because, you know, but his wine is so good. 99% of all the people who take a sip are basically hooked forever. This keeps the familia together for a common goal of getting some more of that wine, getting another taste, because they're junkies. And, you know, he was like thinking, oh, this is going to have them together, you know, for a common goal to get my wine. But it ends up having the opposite effect of being together and has them want to lie, steal, and kill their comrades just to get enough money to get another taste of his wine. We learned this directly from Loki, who has the strongest familia, if you were wondering at all. Like, she just does, you know. Boss, I don't know. Which also you should keep an eye on for season 2. Anyways, he saves her from basically death, and she apologizes, becomes a member of the team, but not the familia. That's very much key to know. I thought she was a part of the familia, but no, she's not part of the familia. Oh yeah, if you didn't already notice or know, gods and goddesses are very petty. Like, petty as shit. The next couple episodes are about Freya pushing Bel to his limits and getting him to go fight his fear, without not directly talking to Bel at all. She's basically stalking him from afar, just thirsting away in her castle. And she gets him to tackle his fear by fighting the Minotaur. Not just any old Minotaur, no. She sent her right-hand man to go juice up this Minotaur for Bel to go fight, nearly killing him. This gets pretty ugly where Ainz has to try and bail him out again. He said, "Fuck that, I'm not going down like this." He'd rather die than be weak, basically. Which made for the best scene in the season. And maybe the series, honestly. Thinking back about the scene was pretty freaking hard. Like, it was nice. He wins this and becomes level 2, which took him only a month and a half. Which, you need to be reminded that this is insane. To put this in perspective, the average is probably around a year, maybe even year and a half to 2. The fastest ever was Ainz, who did it at a year. So he demolished her time and everyone who ever lived, more than validating his dream of becoming a hero. And at this point, I forgot to mention how much Freya was pushing for him. Like, I might have already said it, but during the climax of this show, she's literally busting out in excitement of Bel killing this Minotaur. Because A, she was rigging this entire thing, and B, she was rigging this entire thing. Oh yeah, if I didn't already, should have mentioned this. Whenever a god or goddesses are mentioned or brought on the scene, it's some pretty mature content, alright? After recovering from his injuries, because, you know, he's basically dead, he befriends Krozo, who can make magic swords, but he doesn't like making magic swords. Lily doesn't like him also, and he's a part of the Hephaestus familia. Honestly, there's not much to talk about with him. There really isn't. It's all the 3 things you need to know. He makes magic swords, but he doesn't like making magic swords, and he's part of the Hephaestus familia. Really, there's not much to the character that you need to remember. You just know he's a part of the team. He's a part of the team because no one else wanted him. Oh man. Oh my gosh. Oh man. Okay, so the party goes off to go kill some more monsters in the dungeon again, but this time they get left for dead by Makoto's team, who literally bring the monsters to them. Like, come on, that's a dick move. Forcing Hestia to go find allies to go save Bel's party, which they surprisingly did not need. The end. The show is very simple, with a very easy to understand formula of always having to go back into the dungeon to make money or to prove yourself. The only thing I failed to mention were like other supporting characters, items, and spells, but like I said, you really don't need to know that going into season 2. You'll honestly forget about the characters anyways in the anime. It's not like they didn't have any presence, it's just that they weren't really relevant to the story because everyone really is a supporting character except for Bel and Hestia. Even the freaking supporter is a support character. Everyone in the story is basically along the journey of Bel and Hestia. Really, what you should take out of season 1 is Bel has a lot of potential, but is still very weak. Himself and his party members are very weak. Mainly his party members, because they won't hit level 2 till like around a year and a half or so. Because that's just normal, that's natural. All the females in the Oreo all the females in Oreo and Apollo want his dick. I don't know why, but they do. That's just their fetish. Like, there are crazy stronger adventurers, but women gravitate towards this Shoto boy. That is a key part of season 1 and mainly season 2. So keep an eye on that. So keep that in mind. 3. He is a timid guy that just wants to become a hero. 4. Hestia is guarding his virginity like a mama hawk. And lastly, Hermes and mostly Freya are controlling everything. Hermes isn't to be trusted, and Belle is looking like a tall glass of water to Freya, cause she's thirsty. This is all you need to know going into season 2. Overall, it's an okay anime. It's just very nostalgic. If you're watching it again, it's really about it.